So today we're gonna start the first lesson of electronic business. The subject is MGT 4124, and in this subject there will be a practical session as well, a theory component and practical component. In the practical component, you're gonna learn how to develop a website and how to publish a website, and what some graphic designing, and again what are the other opportunities available or the tools available in the internet for electronic business. And in the theory sessions, you're going to learn what are the infrastructure and background application, background theories, right? And electronic business, the terms related to electronic business, technologies related to electronic business. So those things we're going to learn. Again, what is electronic business and e-commerce, e-applications. So we're going to learn those things in theory sessions, right? Okay. So first, e-concept, right? I think you have seen e-marketplace, e-business, e-commerce, e-channeling, e-booking, e-learning, right? There are a lot of things start with E, right? So this E means electronically, right? The meaning of E is electronically, electronic. So this E concept comes from electronically network-based applications for the social development of communities or societies. That is what the meaning of E here, right? Electronically network-based applications. Electronic network-based application. So when we take the term e-business, electronic business, it is also based on electronic network. The business is based on electronic network. That is why we call that electronic business, right? So today we are not going to understand what is e-business is, what is e-commerce is, those things we are not going to talk today, right? Today we're gonna discuss some background concepts, background technologies, which based for this electronic business. So children, we are going to talk about e-business. Therefore, we must aware what is the basic digit or basic capacity of this e concept. In a digital world, E means digital actually. I'll explain what digital means. So all the computers and laptops, mobile phones, internet connections, everything work on a digital platform. So digital is a signal, right? Give me a minute. Again, children, in my area, it is expecting a power cut by 10:30 p.m. So if that happens, we will stop by 10:30. And again,
Sir.
Okay, children, please talk. If not, please reply in chat because I can't see your faces. I don't know whether you understood or not, right? Therefore, please talk. Right, everyone. Let's move to the next one. So, file sizes normally, if we consider a web image, normally the file size vary with 10 KB to 512 kilobytes. There can be different file sizes, but normally in average 10 kilobyte to 512 kilobyte. Now you must have idea, right? What is 10 kilobyte means? 10 kilobyte means if we take it in bit bytes, 10 into 1024. Again, if we consider bits, again we have to multiply by 8. This amount of bits are there. This amount of ones and zeros are there in a normal image. Here, if it is a song, 2 MB. 2 MB means 1024 kilobytes, 1024 bytes by 8. bits. So this much of bits are there in a MP3 song. So if we are going to store this in a pen drive or in location, this number of bits have to be stored. If it is a video, it varies from 800 MB to 1.5 GB. If it is a 1 hour HD video, right? So like that, these file sizes are varies depend on the file type.
Sir, we can't see slide.
Okay, let me. Is that okay now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So children, I'll explain again. So depending on the image, depending on the file type, the size varies. And normally image, you must aware of these sizes, because when you're going to be in electronic business, you have to share files, you have to publish some data in web, right? So like that, if you're going to engage with electronic business, you have to deal with these file types. Therefore, you must have a clear understanding what are the common file sizes and what a file size means. Because if you're going to publish a video on the web or a YouTube or Facebook, you must have clear understanding how that will affect the user, right? So I'll come to that point. So here what you must understand is, depending on the file size, file type, the file size varies, right? So if we consider bits, children, this much of bits has to be stored in a computer. Again, assume that you are going to send a audio file from your end to someone, right? Assume that you can just WhatsApp something. So then what should happen? From your computer or from your mobile phone, this much of bits has to be transferred to the other computer, other mobile phone, right? ඔයාලා WhatsApp එකේ ෆොටෝ එකක් ගහලා යවනවා නම් ඒ ෆොටෝ එක අපි හිතමු 10 kilobyte ෆොටෝ එකක් කියලා. If it is a 10 kilobyte photograph, then this much of bits has to be transferred from your mobile phone to the other one's mobile phone. So for this amount, the service providers are going to charge for data, right? You're going to purchase 10 GB, 15 GB data packages, right? So that data packages, they monitor how much of data you have used depending on these values, the file size, downloading and uploading, right? Is it clear? Right, children, normally in Sri Lanka, right? Normally in Sri Lanka, you know that you are using internet, using mobile phones, and again using laptops, right? Again using fixed connections, fiber connections, or some other fixed connections. In university, you have fixed connection, right? So normally, median speed, right? Speed of these connections in Sri Lanka, if it is a mobile connection, it's 13 megabits per second, right? This is megabits per second. Bit, not bytes, right? So assume that we have a 10. You are supposed to download the image with 10 kilobyte, right? Then if we convert that into bits, children, I think you may understand this, right? If not, please ask. දරුවනේ මම හිතනවා ඔයාලට මේක තේරෙයි කියලා. මොකද මේ බේසික් ටික ඔයාලා ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕනි ඉලෙක්ට්‍රොනික බිස්නස් ගැන අපි කතා කරන්න නම්. That is why I'm teaching you these things first, So you must have a clear understanding about these basics, right? So if you don't understand, please ask. ඔයාලට තේරෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවනි මොකද අලුත් දේවල් ඔයාලට අලුත් කියන්නේ මේ digital basics කියන ඔයාලට අලුත් දේවල් ඒක තේරෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. It is totally understood. Therefore, please ask questions, right? Right, 10 kilobyte file. So to convert that to bytes, I have to multiply that with 1024. So make 10 විතර වැඩි කර ඇයි කියලා තේරුම් නැති වුණොත් අහන්න දරුවනේ. හරිද? අහන්න නැතුව ඉන්න එපා. Right. Again by 8 to convert that to bits. So I have this much of bits in this image, right? If I have image with 10 kilobytes, it has this much of bits. So in my internet connection, it can transfer 13 megabits per second. So megabit means 1 multiplied by 1024 kilobit, again multiplied by 1024. So then what do you think? How much time will it take to download such an image which to 10 kilobyte in our mobile connections in Sri Lanka? තප්පරයක්ට වඩා යයිද තප්පරයක්යි තප්පර අඩු යයිද ළමයි? What do you think? Shall I explain again? Right, I'll explain again. Children, we have an image. That image has 10 kilobytes. That image එකක් තියෙනවා. හරි, පළවෙනි කාරණාව ඔයාලා තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ normal average 13 megabits per second තමයි speed එක. So these things are very important because if you're going to use electronic business, you must aware how customers can access your files, access your web content, right? Access the things that you're going to share, right? That knowledge must be there in with you. Right, children? Assume that we have an image, photograph, which capacity is 10 kilobyte. දරුවනේ 10 kilobyte කියලා කියන්නේ අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කිව්වා computer එකක නැත්නම් අපි transmission එකක digital platform එකක the basic space or basic memory unit is 1 bit. එක bit එකක් කියලා අපි කිව්වේ. So everything is depend on this bit. So if we have a 10 kilobyte file to send, assume that you're gonna WhatsApp a file, right? Or you're gonna watch a Facebook image. අපි ඔයාලා Facebook එකේ image එකක් බලනවා. එක image එකක්. Right? So you are watching an image means the Facebook computer is here and your laptop is here, right? So if you're gonna watch a Facebook image using your laptop, the image has to download from Facebook computer to your computer. If that image contains 10 kilobytes from this your internet link, through your internet link, a 10 KB capacity must be transferred into your computer. So this speed comes in that point. The speed එක එන්නේ ඒ point එකේ. The downloading speed. Right? So if I convert this into bytes, right? First, this is a 10 kilobyte image. මාට 1000 වැඩි කරන්න අයි අපි kilobyte එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ byte 1004ක් නිසා. again අපි bit ගැන කතා කරන නිසා මට මේක ආයේ 8න් වැඩි කරන්න වෙනවා හේතුව bit එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ එක byte එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ bit 8ක් නිසා. ඒත් මම මේ convert කරොත් මේ තියෙන්නේ bit මෙච්චර ප්‍රමාණයක image එකක් තමයි මං ගාව තියෙන්නේ. Or I am supposed to see from Facebook here, right? ඉතින් බලන්න යන මෙහෙම එකක්. If my speed is this one, What's the meaning of that? Per second, I can download 13 megabits. Megabits means 13 into 1024 means kilobits. Another 1024 means megabits. So for a second, I can download this much of a capacity, right? For a second. In my image, I have only this capacity. මේක 1000 දෙකකින් වැඩි වෙනවා. එකකින් තමයි වැඩි වෙන්නේ. හරි. දරුවනේ මේකේදී ඔයාලට තේරෙන්න ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයිද? මේ තමයි download speed එක bit මෙච්චරක්. මේක ගාන විදියක් කියන්න ඕනේ. අපරයකට bit අපරයකට bit මෙච්චරක් කියලා කියනවා. හරි. ඒකට අපි ගාව තියෙන්නේ 81.920යි. That's all, right? So then, what do you think? Less than a second, we can download this image, right? So that is how you must understand how, if you're gonna publish some content in a website, in your electronic business, e-business in method, right? How your customers will able to access that, how long it will take. That idea must be in your mind, right? So when you're going to upload an image or a kind of a media, right, like audio or a video, always you must think that this is the average speed in Sri Lanka, and it may take this much of time to download or view. So customers may view this video or not. If it is taking much time to download, they will not watch your video, right? They will not watch your image. They will just skip that. So if you don't have this background idea, you may not able to handle these medias, I mean, images, web content, and videos, audios, those things in your web applications, right, children? Okay. However, in the world, it is 29 Mbps mobile speed. And if it is fixed connections, in Sri Lanka, it is 18.2 megabits, and in the world, it is 5.8 megabits. However, Sri Lanka also have a acceptable internet speed, average internet speed. Okay, right? Is it clear to everyone? Children, please reply in chat, or if you can talk, please talk, right? Everyone, is it clear? If not, you can ask questions. Dulanji, thank you for replying. Others, please. Please reply in chat, children, because I can't see your faces. I don't know whether you get it or not. Right. So let's move forward. Everyone, here you can see several numbers, few numbers in millions, right? 21.54 millions, 11.34 millions. There are 5 numbers in millions, right? So let's see what are these numbers. First one, can someone assume what is first one? 21.54 million is the familiar one. Normally we say that 22 million. So that is the total population in Sri Lanka in January 2022, right? Again, you must have an understanding about these figures as well, because you are supposed to learn electronic business, and all the electronic business depend on internet. So you must have a clear understanding about how internet usage in the country, right? How many people are using internet in the country? So in the country, we have 11.34 million internet users in the country in Sri Lanka. But the bad thing is, not actually bad thing, but however, we must understand that bear that 10.2 million people in Sri Lanka did not use the internet at the state of 2022, right? That means that 47.4% of population remain offline at the beginning of the year. So even if you are talking towards electronic business, right? In digital business in Sri Lanka, 47.4% is offline, right? So when we're going to plan a business, when you're going to plan or expecting a customer base in our electronic business, we must aware that only 53% of Sri Lankan people are online, and if we post advertisement, that will reach some amount from that percentage, right? අපි ad එකක් post කරොත් ඒක reach වෙන්නේ ඒ percentage එකනොත් තව 30කට විතරයි, right? Then 7.15 million Facebook users in Sri Lanka in January 2022. If we ask someone, do you have a Facebook account? They will say yes, yes, yes. It seems like in Sri Lanka, everyone is having a Facebook account, right? But that is not true. Only 7.15 million Facebook users in Sri Lanka, right? There are so many accounts, right? But not the users. Then again, YouTube users. That is also 7.15. These are all Google statistics. Right, children. So that is how our internet population varies in the country. Right. So this thing we discussed earlier, this is for your understanding. I just add to your note, right? If a file is 1 megabytes per second, if the speed is 1 megabytes per second, to download 1 MB image, it will take this much of time, right? So like that. Right, everyone. Now we're going to discuss about some infrastructure or the networking platforms, right? So normally electronic business depend on electronically networked platforms. The network එකක් උඩ තමයි the electronic business කියන එක run වෙන්නේ, because all these things are E concepts. Electronic E means depend on electronically networked platform, right? So here these things we have learned in IT in your first year IT subject, right? However, I'm going to refresh your mind. So there are wired networks in the world. In a wired network, normally we use end devices as laptops, printers, desktop computers. Those things are the end devices. So normally, if you going to run an electronic business, you may need it is compulsory to have electronic network, right? A computer network, and all your applications will run on that network. In that case, you must have awareness, or you must have a knowledge about the devices. Even you must know the name, right? So හදිස්සියේ network එක වැඩ කරන්න නැතුව ගියොත් ඔයාලගේ වැඩ කරන තැනකදී you must aware even you must know a name of a device. So this is called switch. This is the switch, right? So this switch is used to connect multiple computers or end devices together, right? To connect multiple end devices together, we use a switch. And again, the cables, these cables are called as UTP cables. These are UTP cables, unshielded twisted pair cables. So to form a network, we are going to connect end devices using UTP cables with a switch. So then this computer can communicate here and this. Again, it can send data back to the switch through the switch to the source computer. So like that, all the communications will happen through this switch, right? Okay. So these are called as wired networks. Next, children, we have wireless networks. I think you all have seen these Wi-Fi routers. These are called as Wi-Fi routers, normally referred as access points. Wi-Fi access points, right? So in Wi-Fi access point, end devices are different. We can connect our laptops, tabs, smartphones, and the devices which has a Wi-Fi facility can join with a Wi-Fi access point. So these are wireless networks and most popular networks in the world, Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi තමයි ලෝකෙදී most popular network එකක් විදිහට තියෙන්නේ. So those are wireless networks. Right, everyone. So internet is based on these networks. So assume that in our company we have a network. See, we have a switch and some computers connected. There is another company. They have a wireless router and they have connected all their devices through that wireless router. It's a wireless access point. Here there is another industry company or something, someplace. They also have a network. Like that, in the world there are millions of networks and millions of individuals connected. If I have an internet connection in my home, I am also a separate network. If you have a fiber connection or something, or any other internet connection from any other service provider, right? So then you are a separate network. Like that, millions of networks and individuals are connected together in internet, right? So what happens? There is a device called router. Again, children, it's very important that I am not to give you, I'm not going to give you a note, right? This is the note, and this note has only images. In that case, very important, you write down your own notes. I'm very slowly doing this lecture because these are new things to you. And you better write down all the things, right? I'll make the video available, but it is better that you prepare your own note, okay? If you need more time to write the note, please ask, right? Okay. දරුවනේ ඕනම වෙලාවක ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න. ඔයාලට මේ දේවල් අලුත් දේවල් එන්න පුළුවන්, තේරෙන්න නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ ඒ නිසා ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න, හරිද? Okay. So this device is called a router. To connect two networks, these routers are used. The routers are used to connect two different networks. So this network and this network is connected together through this router. Again, there is another router. So this network is connected to that router. So however, these routers are the main device in the internet. So a router by router, there are millions of routers connected together, and that forms the internet. So these routers are maintained by service providers, internet service providers. In Sri Lanka, we have SLT, Dialog, Etisalat, Airtel, Lankacom, and there are so many, right? Those people are called as internet service providers. So these internet service providers maintain routers in their all branches. If university area, you consider Goliapitiya, they have a router. Dialog people have a router. SLT people have a router. In the next city, Narambala, Kurunagala, Kandy, Kalambu, like that, all the branches of one service provider, they maintain a router. From that router, they're going to draw cables and give other connections to the other separate individual networks. The routers වලින් තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ අනිත් අයට මේ connections, internet connections දෙන්නේ. So that network is called as the internet. මේ විදිහට මුළු ලෝකෙම කනෙක්ට් වෙච්චි network එකට අපි කියනවා internet කියලා. From Sri Lanka we have connections to India. From India we have connections to all the other countries. So we are connected with all the computers, servers in the world through this internet connection. So if you just go into, assume that we are now we are doing a Zoom lecture, right? So here, assume that I am in the university, so I'm here, right? Let's see. This is myself, and this is you, and there's someone here. Mobile phone, right? Okay. So you have internet connections, a fixed connection, and this one, assume this is a tower. So she has a mobile connection. However, what happens? Assume that this is America, US. They have the Zoom server. Zoom server, right? Now, how this work is, I have connected to Zoom server and create the Zoom session link, right? And I have circulated that link with you. So through that Zoom link, it has created a separate network with you and me, right? So මේක හරහා තමයි මේ network එක දැන් දුවන්නේ. So all things that I'm going to share, also all things that I'm going to talk, will go through this path to yourself. Right? Again, if you're going to watch a YouTube video, the same thing happens. You are connected to the YouTube computer, and from the YouTube computer, the data will flow into your laptop or the mobile phone, right? So that is what internet means. Internet is, so we can refer internet or define internet as a network or a collection of networks spread all over the world is called as the internet. So internet කියලා කියන්නේ YouTube එකක් Facebook එකක් ඒ මොකක්වත් නෙවෙයි. internet කියලා කියන්නේ මේ network එක විතරයි. That is only the network. Right. Okay, children, now I know that you have an understanding what internet is and the infrastructure behind the internet, right? Electronic concept. So here and now you must aware in electronic business, we are supposed to share our data through electronic devices, right? So therefore, all the electronic devices which are connected to internet must have a unique identification, unique address. So that unique address is called as IP address. So that IP address is a number with 4 components or parts, right? In this IP address, each number must be between 0 and 255. About this IP address also we have learned earlier in your first year. I don't know whether you remember that or not. However, just to refresh your mind, the number which is going to be in this part will be between 0 to 255, right? So this is a unique address. Only this computer can have this address. So in the internet, any time that we request a service, right? For example, if you're going to view a website, if you're going to watch a video, if if you're going to access Facebook, if you're going to access any other social media site, right? Anything. All the requests will be sent or transmitted from this computer with this unique address, and all the data to be sent into this computer also sent to this unique address. So this address is called as the Internet Protocol address or the IP address. So keep in mind that an IP address is a unique address that identifies a device on the internet or a local network. It's a unique address which is used to identify a device in a network. Network එක ඇතුලේ නැත්නම් අපි කතා කරන electronic business එක ඇතුලේදී අපි පාවිච්චි කරන devices, all the devices that we're going to use in this electronic business concept must be identified uniquely in the network. To do that, there is an address that is called the IP address. So this is somewhat similar to a mobile phone number, right? In order to identify ourselves in the entire world, we have a unique mobile phone number. අපිට තියෙන mobile phone number එකක්. So if someone dial our number, only our phone will ring. මේ ලෝකෙ වෙන කොහෙවත් phone ring වෙන්නේ නැහැ අපේ number එක dial කරපුවාම. Right? So like that, IP address is the unique identifier of a electronic device in a network. So if you are joining to this Zoom session using a mobile phone, your mobile phone also have an IP address. That IP address is assigned to you or your mobile phone from the service provider. If you have a dial-up connection, they are the service provider and the provider of this IP address. If you have a SLT connection, then they have provided you the IP address, right? So like that, they are the responsible people to allocate these IP addresses into the connected devices to the internet. මේ internet service providers තමයි මේ IP addresses දෙන්නේ internet connect කරන devices වලට. Okay. Right, children. Up to now, is it clear? Everyone, any questions?
Excuse me, sir. Sir, that router, is that similar to a home router or is that different from that?
Good question. Here. So this is also a router, right? I'll explain that. Right, can you see the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is what happened. Internet service providers are there, ISP. So assume that in your area you have a SLT office, ISP. So they are maintaining a business router. So this is a very expensive device which can handle multiple communications. Right. Again, here assume that we have a company or our business is here. We also have a network, a switch, and some computers connected to that switch. Again, there is a home. And the home also, there is a person who is willing to have a internet connection. Okay. Now this is a business, this office. This is a home. Right now, this person going to talk to ISP, the SLT, and ask I need an internet connection, dedicated internet connection to my office. So then what they're gonna do? They're gonna draw a fiber cable from their end to this location, and they will install a router here. Those are called as home routers, office routers, right? Again, from that router, they're gonna connect a cable. And if I request for my home, similar thing happens. If a fiber connection is there, then they will draw a cable, then set up a small wireless router and mount that in the wall, and they will give us the internet connection. These are also routers, because this is one network and this end is one network here, the entire part, right? So our network is one and we have thousands of networks here. So in this point also, the purpose is to connect two networks. Therefore, they have to install a router. In your home also, you have a small router. So these are business routers. These are high-end devices. Same concept, same thing, but the capacity of handling connections is high. That's the difference. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So very good. Please all ask questions, right? Right, everyone. So all the communication in the internet works as client server architecture. So client server architecture means there is a client and a server. So the computer which is going to provide a service is called as the server, and the end device which is going to receive the service is called as the client. The host computer is a client, a computer with high performance which provides a service or a network. So this server must have high performance. That is because this server has to communicate with thousands of end users. Right? Assume this is a website. Let's say this is the university web server. This computer contains the university website. So normally per day, let's say 1,000 people going to view the website. So there will be 1,000 connections simultaneously connected with this server, and the server has to communicate with all these 1,000 end users at the same time. So then this computer must have high performance than other computers. Normally a server will cost around 4 million, 5 million, right? Because it must have high memory, high capacity, and a good internet connection, right? High amount of memory, and we have to provide cooling systems for those, right? Because they're going to heat due to heavy traffic. Again, LMS, right? You are using LMS. LMS also a LMS server. So when you are using LMS, it has to handle 100 of connections at the same time. So in some cases, I think you may have experienced LMS is very slow. That is because the amount of connections connected at the same time is not the service not capable of handling that much of connections. So LMS එක slow වෙන්න හේතුව තමයි මෙයාට එක වෙලාවේ ළමයි දැන් BSF එකේ ළමයි එක බැජ් එකක් ලොග් වුණොත් එහෙනම් මෙයා වැඩ කරන්න නැතුව යනවා. Because this server cannot handle that much of connections at once, because the performance is not enough. However, this computer has much performance than other end devices. So just think about Facebook or YouTube, right? Millions of simultaneous connections will be there in a single second. And million connections handle karna. So can you assume the performance of that servers? Okay, we'll talk to that. We'll come to that, right? Okay, however, client server architecture, the architecture of a computer network in which many clients request and receive services from a centralized server. So this is what client server architecture is. Normally the client's going to request services. Assume that you are going to watch a YouTube video, right? If you're going to watch a YouTube video, what you're going to do, you're going to, let's say you're using a mobile phone, you're going to open the YouTube application. This is what actually happens, right? Normally, your mobile phone keep a cache memory. Cache memory means inbuilt memory for this internet content. දරුවනේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ අපේ device එකක් internal memory එකක් තියාගන්නවා මේ internet content එකට. So if you just open YouTube, that YouTube application will open the cache content. That means the things saved in your computer or the mobile phone. After that, if you just scroll down, then this one will request from the YouTube server what are the updates, right? So then this server will reply with the query of videos. Assume that you are going to click on a video. Video click karna. Then again your mobile phone will request, I need this video. Then YouTube server will send that video or stream that video into your mobile phone. So this is request and this is response. So the client going to request and the server respond to that request. Even in Facebook, similar thing happens. If you want to open the image, what do you do? You're going to click on the image, right? When you click on the image, that request will go to Facebook server, and from there, the server will send you the image. When the image is received, your mobile phone will pop up the image. So buffering time, have you experienced buffering? In YouTube, in Facebook, every time, if you're gonna watch a video, there will be buffering time. That is because this internet connection is somewhat slow. Still, the server is sending you the data. Still, the server is responding. That is why the buffering time is there. So when it receives all the data, only it will show you the video. Right? So you must have a clear understanding now what is the client-server architecture is. That is how the communication happens in internet. If you're going to view a website, our computer is going to request from the web server and the web server respond with the web content. That is what client-server architecture means, right? If I ask you in the examination, explain what is client-server architecture, you must be able to do so, right? Okay. Any questions, children? Right, everyone. So now there's another concept that you must aware. Before moving into electronic business, you must aware how this electronic communication happen in the internet. Children, there is another service called domain name system. Right? Domain name system. Domain name system means normally for our reference, we use web addresses. Google.com, YouTube.com, Facebook.com, right? So what are the other .coms available? Like that, there are number of websites, right? Normally we refer that websites using the name. But actually, I told you that actually the communication happened in the internet using a number. That number is called as the IP address. IP address. Just similar to a phone book, right? So in the phone book, we have saved names, not the numbers. Name and the number, right? So we're gonna search by the name. But actually the phone call goes to the number. Same thing happens here. So DNS is somewhat like a phone book. Domain name system. So normally ISPs, internet service providers, maintain these servers. So this is ISP server, right? You can see. So server means a computer which provides a service. That's all, right? So this ISP DNS server, domain name system, what domain name system do is translate human readable domain names. What are domain names? Web addresses. Domain name can get a web address. For example, Amazon.com, Google.com, YouTube.com, right? To machine readable IP address. So actual communication happens using IP addresses between these electronic devices which are connected to a network, right? But as humans, we use web addresses, domain names, Facebook.com, Google.com, gov.lk, like that. So therefore, there must be something like a phone book to convert this name into IP address. So DNS server act in that place. So this DNS server simply convert a web address into IP address, right? That is what a DNS server do. Again, children, there are top level DNS servers. Those are called as root DNS servers. You are very aware, you must have a clear understanding about this DNS and server client server architecture before moving into electronic business. That is why I'm teaching these things to you. So root DNS servers means there are several companies who maintain these root DNS servers. I think you know that at the end of every web address, there is a part called .com, .org, .lk, .gov. Like that, there is a end part of each web address. Have you seen facebook.com, google.com, daras.lk, the website. So like that, there's the end part, right? With starting with followed by a dot. So this is the root domain, top level domain part, right? Top level domain here. Normally domain name means the web address. Assume that let's take facebook.com, right? facebook.com. So this is the domain name. This total one is a domain name. We refer that as domain name. That is referred as the domain name. And this part is called as the top level domain. Right? So each and every web address must be registered under a top level domain. Assume that you are going to start a business and you're going to publish a website related to your business. If you have owned a company, for the company, you are going to publish a website, right? You can create a website. You can hire a web developer or someone, or if you have the knowledge, you can develop the website. And after that, what you must do, you must register your website under a top level domain. Every website which is going to hosted in the internet must be registered, must have registered under a top level domain. අපි හිතමු ඔයාලගේ වෙබ්සයිට් එක ඔයාලා හදන්න නැත්නම් ඔයාලා කම්පැනි එකක් ඔයාලා හදනවා මොකක් කියලාද අපි හිතමු ABC කියලා නේද ලේසිම නම ඔයාලගේ කම්පැනි එක ABC. So you are supposed to publish a website called AB with the name ABC. So then you can register your name website in any of these domains. You want to domain register කරන්න පුළුවන්, no restrictions, but ethically .com means commercial websites, .lk means websites from Sri Lanka, .org means non-profitable organizations, .net means network related websites, .gov government related websites. Like that, there are some there is a theme for each top level domain, but no issue, you can register under any top level domain. So in this case, we are from Sri Lanka, so we are like to register that as that under LK domain. So in the internet, you can search register.lk domain. Then there are several companies who support you to register your website in LK domain. You have to pay an annual amount for the name, and you can register your website under a top level domain. So assume that we are going to register our website under LK domain. So our name will be now abc.lk. right? So we are going to have a web server and say that this is abc.lk, the computer, right? However, so we have reached that in .lk domain. Then assume that someone is going to access our website. අපි හිතමු කවුරු හරි දැන් අපේ වෙබ්සයිට් එක බලන්න එනවා. So that person using a mobile phone, a tab, laptop or a desktop, whatever the device they're going to use, they're going to type in the web browser abc.lk. That is our website name now. ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් මේක බලන්නයි එන්නේ. So now the end device doesn't know who is abc.lk because this is just a name. There must be an IP address related to that, because the communication will happen using IP addresses. So children, this computer will ask from his DNS server who is abc.lk. Still this computer doesn't know, right? මෙයා දන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අපි register කරේ .lk එක register කරා විතරයිනේ තාම. So this DNS server doesn't know because this is a low level DNS server. Then it will ask from the LK server. මෙයා දැන් අහනවා .lk server එකෙන් abc කියලා කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද? Yes, there is, because we have registered that, right? Under .lk. Then this server will reply, yes, there is. Its IP address is 173.91 kind of IP address. Now what this server will do, this will store that detail in this server as well, and again inform the end user. මෙයා එක මෙයාගේ ඇතුළේ save කරගෙන මෙයාට කියනවා. Now this computer or the mobile phone, whatever the end device, know who is abc.lk by IP address, and then it can directly communicate with the relevant web server, our website. And this server will respond and send the website. So that is how the communication in internet happens using DNS, domain name system, domain name server. So domain names are very important because we always use web addresses as reference. To access any of the website, we use the web address. If we have a company, right? If you have an electronic, if you have a business, if you're going to publish a website, we have to give it a name and register under a top level domain, right? Then only other people can view our website. Children, is it clear? Maybe DNS, how you can access websites. Is it clear, children? If you want me to explain again, please ask. I'll do that, right? It's okay, because you must have a very clear understanding how these things happens, because before moving into web electronic business, these are the basics. You must aware how these things happen, how you can view a website, how you can publish a website. So that knowledge must be there in yourself. So children, please ask questions if you don't understand, right? Everyone, please reply in chat. Is it clear? The two have replied. What about others? All right. So have you heard dark web? So in electronic business, we must aware about dark web as well. This is also kind of a business. All the illegal businesses going through this dark web. So children, dark web means the websites which don't have an address. They don't have DNS records. So when you access such a website, you have to access through IP address only, and only the people who know the IP address can access the website, and there'll be no record when you just visit the website. So I'll explain what dark web and all those things in next lectures, right? However, this is how all the business applications and web applications run in internet. Okay. Right, children. Now, all the companies now maintaining their data centers. Even our university also we have a data center. So data center is a physical facility, physical location that organizations use to house their critical applications and data. Right. So in a data center is one place, one room where we're going to store all our servers and network devices, and those critical electronic devices where we're going to store and we are going to secure that place, and such a place is called as a data center. Data center. In the data center, you can see in this image. In the data center, these are racks, server racks. These are called as server. These are server racks. So all these are servers, you can see, right? May work on servers. So these servers are mounted into these racks. So these servers can be web servers, email servers, and there are multiple servers, and again routers, switches. All these things are stored in these racks. Again, these are power backups. So we have to provide the uninterrupted power connection to these servers. Therefore, high-end UPSs will be used in a data center. And this is monitoring space. Monitoring, right? So now you must have understanding what data center means. Every company is maintaining data center because they have their own application servers. If it is a bank, they have banking application servers there, email servers. Again, if it is a other company, they also have their own web applications, their in-house applications, and again, email, right? All these servers belong to that company will be stored in this room, and this room is called as the data center. So here, the key components of a data center design include routers, switches, firewalls. A firewall, it's a very important device. Firewall is the device which going to protect a computer network from outside access. So each company must have a firewall, right? So that the firewall will secure a data center or an internal network from unauthorized outside access. Then storage systems, there are storage servers which has hard disk. See, so normally these are the storage servers you can see in this image as well, right? Within hard disk, hard disk. Then servers and application delivery controllers, right? All these critical devices will be stored in a separate room, and this room will be secured physically as well. Fingerprint password link data center secure. Normally, a data center consists of network infrastructure because the entire network connection will come to this point from the service provider in the company. The company has main internet connection again may data center. Fiber line එකක් පුළුවන් නැත්නම් wireless line එකක් යන්න පුළුවන් කොහොම හරි ඒක එන්නේ මේ data center එකට, right? So there will be routers. If it is a large company, they also may have big business routers. ලොකු company එකක් නම් යාළගේ data center එකේ business routers තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ maintain කරන්නේ. Again, switches, right? Switches also there. Again, storage infrastructure, file servers, and storage services like this. මෙව capacity. වෙනම capacity තියාගන්න servers මේගොල්ලෝ තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා. Computing resources. They may have servers like web servers, application servers, email servers, file servers, right? So like that, different computers which provide different services will stored here. So such a place is called as a data center. In earlier times, companies highly expend for their data centers to keep all their servers and critical devices, computer-based devices in-house. So the maintenance cost is very high because they have to hire qualified people to handle those devices, like network administrators, system administrators, database managers, data center operators. There were several jobs to maintain a data center. Again, they had to provide, as I told you earlier, backup power with UPS, uninterrupted power supply units. Uninterrupted power supply units. Right. Again, these devices want to heat. It will generate a huge heat. So then they have to provide AC cooling. So it is very difficult to maintain and it's very costly to maintain a data center. However, all the companies, they had to maintain their own data centers. මීට අවුරුදු දෙක තුනකට කලින් හැම කම්පැනි එකක්ම data centers maintain කරා. Nowadays also big companies, banks, they maintain their own data centers, right? Okay, have you idea that what a data center is now? Do you have any questions regarding the data center? Because children, you must aware about data centers because all the web applications, internet-based applications that we're gonna use will origin from a data center. So ඉපදෙන්නේ ඔක්කොම ටික data center එක ඇතුලේ. All the applications. So even you're going to work in a company, even you're going to start your own company. However, you have to use these web applications, and all these web applications are based on a server, and these servers are stored and maintained in a data center. Right, everyone? So this is the Google new data center in Netherlands. You can see this is a huge building, and there are millions of computers connected together to form their services. And you can see these are water cooling systems. See, all the plumbings are there. All the computers are going to be cooled using water. Assume the heat that they're going to generate, the computer is going to generate. And Google අදන service එකක් ගත්තාම එහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ. කියන්නේ even just example, take our LMS, right? It's just a simple server, one computer, one server, right? When more than 300 students log into that simultaneously, the computer may stuck, the server may stuck. It's about 4 million server, right? The cost is 4 million, I think. But it also can't handle that much of connections to simultaneously, multi connections. But assume Google ගත්තොත් එක තප්පරයකට ට්‍රිලියන ගාණක් connections එනවනේ. So then their computers has to work very hard. then they are using water cooling systems inside their data centers, right? So if you search in the internet, YouTube, Google data center, you can see how a data center operates. Right, everyone. We were discussing about internet-based applications. Children, now internet has passed 5 eras. එනකොට ඒ eras නැත්තම් පහක් මේ internet කියන internet කියන concept එක ඇතුලේ අපි ගත කරලා තියෙනවා. The first era of internet is called as internet of documents. In those era, people use internet for sending emails and just to view web pages. Dulanja, I just saw your question. Are there separate root DNS servers for .com, .net? Yes, yes. There are separate root DNS servers for each domain. One for .com, one for .net, like that. Those are maintained by different companies. So .lk is maintained by Monato University. They own the .lk domain. Right, children, please ask questions, right? I would like to make this as an interactive session, so please ask questions. තේරුණා නැති හෝ නැත්නම් තේරුණා කියලා අරතරම කියන්න. හරිද? එතකොට ටිකක් live ගතියක් එනවා නැත්නම් නිකම්ම computer එකට කතා කරන්න විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. Okay, however, internet of documents, earlier times they use email and to view web pages, just to share the information, right? After that, internet, the purpose of using internet was changed to internet of commerce, because online transactions were introduced, and after that, people tend to develop online businesses, right? Say buying and selling items through internet, sending advertisements, right? So like that, internet developed to handle electronics transactions in that era is called as internet of commerce. After that, different applications were developed on top of electronic transactions. Some other applications were developed, like customer relationship management systems, online human resource management systems, online enterprise resource planning systems. Like that, different applications were developed on top of internet. So then email is there, web application is there. Now the next development is electronics transactions, and after that the third development is information systems in the era of internet of applications. After that, on top of those applications, social media were introduced. That era is called as internet of people. The main focus is people, connecting people together, and through those connections engage with businesses. Internet of people, because nowadays also we are in such a era, but now we are in different era, but internet of people, actually these are not different eras, right? These are developments. මේ කතා කරගෙන ඉන්න එකකින් එකට වෙනස් වෙනව නෙවෙයි, මේ තියෙන developments. On top of email and web pages, electronic transactions were developed. On top of those three, different applications were developed. To use those applications, social media were introduced to connect people together and share information and actually gather information, right? The main purpose of social media is to gather information, children, not to share. Or I will come to that. Again, now the most important concept now is Internet of Things. That means every electronic device going to have an internet connection. Your mobile phone, your your home, your vehicle, your door of the house, right? Your CCTV camera, and like that, every electronic device is going to have a internet connection. So that is called as Internet of Things. And main thing is all these things are highly automated. They will communicate each other automatically. That's the main concept. So while you are traveling, your mobile phone will communicate with all the other points in the environment, like bus holes, vehicles, posters pasted in the walls, right? Your mobile phone will communicate and share information without knowing actually, right? So like that, giving internet connection and automation to the things is called as Internet of Things. We will discuss that further. Before that, I must tell you something about Internet of People. So children, we all are using social media, right? අපි මම හිතන්නේ Facebook පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැති කවුරුත් මෙතන නැතුව ඇති නේද? WhatsApp පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැති කවුරුත් මෙතන නැහැ. Again, almost all of you have smartphones, I think. Do you know that your smartphone records all your internet activities? ඔයාලා විශ්වාස කරනවද දරුවනේ? ඔයාලා මොබයිල් ෆෝන් එක ඔයාලා කියන කරන හැම දෙයක්ම රෙකෝඩ් කරගන්නවා කියන්නේ. Even you are in offline mode, the phone will record everything. For example, if I call someone and say, I want to buy a headphone. I'm just going to say that. Call like කරම යාළුවෙකුට කියනවා මචං මට headphone එකක් ගන්න ඕන කියලා. හරිද? You may not believe, from that moment on, you will see advertisements of headphones in everywhere that you're gonna, every application that you're gonna use in internet, in Facebook, in YouTube, in Instagram, everywhere. You will see advertisements of headphones. ඔයාලා කෝල් එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ නිකන් කතා කරත් ඇති. එහෙම කීවර්ඩ් එකක් අහුනොත් අක් ගාලා ඒකට ඇඩ්වර්ටයිස්මන්ට් පෝස්ට් කරනවා. ඔයාලට මම හිතනවා ඔයාලට එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකක් ඇති මේකේ. එහෙම එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් තියෙනවා ඉන්නවනම් කතා කරන්න. ඔයාලා නිකන් මේ කතා කරපු දැන් කීවර්ඩ් පස්සේ සමහරට ඔයාලට මතක් වෙනවා මම මේකින් තමයි මේ ඇඩ්වර්ටයිස්මන්ට් මම දකින්නේ කියලා. ඔයාලා කොහේ හොටෙල් එකක් ගැන කතා කරා කියන්නේ. If you just text someone a message, let's go on a trip. නැත්නම් සිංහලෙන් කිව්වොත් අපි trip එකක් යමුද මචං කියලා කාට හරි. From that moment on, you will see advertisements about hotels and all. Children, now this internet is depend on AI, artificial intelligence, AI applications. So we're going to discuss about AI in next lesson, right? So all these things are depend on now artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning. And again, if you search in internet, you can see those things, right? Children, there are some algorithms. Normally, what Facebook people do in electronic business, you must aware how we can model people, right? How internet or these AI applications model people. That is how they're going to run their businesses. එතකොට මේ social media කියන්නේ තනිකරම business එකක්. ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ අපේ හැසිරීම අරගන්න එක, grab කරගන්නවා. So they're going to grab our activities, what we do, and our attitudes, how we think, and based on that they're going to manipulate us. Normally they identify people as paymasters, right? Paymasters. The paymaster is someone who going to pay for a family or set of people. Then depending on the interest of other people who around him, that paymaster will manipulate to purchase things. That is how businesses run now. ඔයාලගේ ගෙදර ඉන්නවා නම් 4 දෙනෙක් 5 දෙනෙක් ඔයාලගේ paymaster ඔයාලගේ පවුලේ කවුරු හරි එක්කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. නැත්තම් දෙන්නෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So Google and Facebook, they know who are the relations who are the people live together, and they all grab information interest from those people and manipulate the paymaster, the person who going to pay for the family, to expend money. මේවා algorithms හරිද? අපි මේකට තව කතා කරමු. So just study. So that is how electronic businesses run now, using AIs and algorithms. දරුවනේ මේ Facebook සහ Google, නැත්නම් Facebook, simply Facebook will monitor how much of time you spend on one image. ඔයාලා ෆොටෝ එකක් දිහා කොච්චරලා බලන් ඉන්නවද කියලා Facebook ලා මොනිටර් කරනවා. What kind of photos that you always view, that will be recorded. What kind of post, text you add in comments. What kind of people that you are interested in. So by grabbing all that information, Facebook has created a model of yourself, model of us. අපි මේ Facebook එක ඇතුලේ නැත්තම් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එක ඇතුලේ කරන කියන හැමදේම අනුව අපේ මොඩල් එකක් හදලා දෙන දරුවනේ. It's a computer based model. It's a program which runs for each and every account holder. So Facebook know everything, right? ඔයා කාටද ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට්, ඔයා මොනවද බලන්නේ, ඔයා මොනවද කරන්නේ, ඔයා කන්නේ මොනවද, ඔයා කන්න නැත්තම් කරන්න ආස මොනවද, ඔයා බලන්න ආස කාවද, යන්න එන්න කැමති කොහෙද? Facebook know everything. If you have interest on someone, that also have Facebook know that thing also, right? When කාට report එක කැමැත්තකින් ඉන්නවනම් the Facebook know that. How? The time you spent in the image. කවුරු හරි අපි තුමු කොල්ලෙක් නම් ගෑනු ළමයි ෆොටෝ එකක් දිහා වැඩිපුර බලන් හිටියා කියලා. ඒක දවස් දෙකක් තුනක් දිගටම කරොත් කෙලින්ම ඊළඟ පාර එනවා friend request එක. ඊළඟ පාර අන්න අර notification එක අන්න අර මෙහෙම post එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා කියලා. Again, if you just stay few hours with someone, even you don't know, even you just met, next time you will see the request, friend request, or suggestion, right? Because with the location, it detect you were there with person and you are not friends. Then Facebook will suggest you to be a friend of that person. Those things are taken from the location. So like that, children, in nowadays, electronic business is totally different. Again, the important thing is now Facebook and Google, they are accepting that they are reading algorithms. Algorithm is set of steps, right? How to identify these attitudes. Those algorithms are now above human control. All things are controlled by machines, computers. So computer is going to monitor you. According to that, they're going to create a model of yourself. And according to the business purposes, they're going to manipulate yourself, us, right? අපිව manipulate කරනවා. අපිට මුකුත් කණ්ඩ බඩගින්නක් නැතත් අපිව මොන හරි අපි ගාව තියෙනවා නම් shop එකක් අපි ඒකට යවන තැනට එයා වැඩ කරනවා. එක්ක අපි interest කවුරුහරි ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන තැනට කියලා හරි අපිට ෆොටෝ එකක් පෙන්නනවා. So then we also may attempt to go there. So like that, these machines are now highly manipulating us, and totally electronic business depend on these machine learning and AI algorithms. Machine learning means studying people through these social media and internet activities of us. Right? So Internet of Things is something different from that, but based on the same concept. Internet of Things means is a system of interrelated computing devices, mechanical and digital machines, objects, animals, people that are provided with unique identifiers and the ability to transfer data over network, right? So that means all the electronic things we're going to use will have a internet connection, and they may be able to communicate automatically. For example, if we have a CCTV camera installed in our home, if someone just cross the gate, right, it will send us a message, right? Again, there are some belts, handwears, right? Bracelets, handwears. So those handwears detect our heart rate. And if that suddenly increased, that will send a message to our doctor automatically that this person is having a supposed to have a heart attack or something, right? Like that. Again, further, you have the belt that you are wearing can call for ambulance even. In farming, also the same, right? In farming, when we just take the yield, we can easily check for the marketplaces, check for the prices, and in some cases, our we can easily communicate with all the stakeholders for farming. ගේන අය, විකුණන අය, මොනවාද අනිත් අවශ්‍ය සියලුම දේ සපයන සප්ලයර්ස්ලා මේ හැමෝම එකට කනෙක්ට් වෙනවා. Again, the pets, right? Your dog is also going to have internet connection. බලන්න මොකටද internet? Facebook යන්නද? No, there are belts for pets with internet connectivities. So that will monitor where the dog gonna go, right? And again, there can be some cameras in those belts. So by your mobile phone, you can view where the dog is going and what the dog is seeing, right? Again, some biofence are there, right? Biofence. Biofence means if we can, in the Google map or a kind of a map, we can mark an area and the dog will not allow to go beyond that area. If the dog pass that area, the belt in his neck will give a small electronic pulse, right? So like those are called as biofence. අපි ලකුණු කරන සීමාවෙන් එහාට බලලට යන්න බෑ. Even your shoes gonna have internet. The bulbs in the house, right? So that is what IoT, Internet of Things, means. So everything is going to be controlled over a computer network. So in future business opportunities, we have to think about that. Because the business environment is now highly changing and highly depending on electronic components. So that is why, children, you are learning electronic business today, and always try to update yourself in this electronic components, because you're going to reach, or you're going to touch a world which runs on digital devices, digital platforms, machine learning platforms, AI platforms. That is where you're going to touch. So you must have the clear knowledge and clear understanding and clear skills about using these applications, using digital applications, right? That digital literacy must be there with you. So that is why this subject is very important. And I'm teaching you the basic things here today very slowly, because without that basic knowledge and of the basic concepts, it is not worth to talk about what is e-commerce, what is e-business and e-business models. So that is not important actually. In electronic business, what important is under which platform you're going to sit on. ඔයාලා business model එක මොකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේ තමයි යන infrastructure. ඔයාලට business එක develop කරන්න වෙන්නේ මේ infrastructure උඩ. So therefore, you must have very clear understanding about that, children, right? Okay, about Internet of Things, do you have any questions? තරුණ ඔයාලට මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න මේ ගැන අහන්න තියෙනවා. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන්න ඕනේ අනිවාර්යෙන්ම. because all these are new concepts and you must have questions. හැමෝටම එකපාර තේරුණා වෙන්න බෑ. Please.